first of all, thank you all again for everything that you did to help Bob McDonnell and Ken Cuccinelli and me back in 2009. We really appreciate that. I think what we did in 2009 is we gave the nation a blueprint for how Republicans win political campaigns. And the blueprint was simple. First of all, we work together. We stay united and we don't allow ourselves to become divided. And the fact that Bob and I were able to resolve this thing about who was going to run for governor helped unite our party and give us a chance to win. Many people say, how'd y'all decide? If Bob was going to run for governor, you were going to run for governor, it's easy. We went age before beauty. He was much older than me, so he had to go first, and then I'll go next. But you know, it was, you know, being united is important. And look, folks, you know, as Republicans, we're not going to agree on every issue. And let me tell you something. This may shock you. That's okay. You know, if you're looking for the candidate or the people that you're going to agree with 100% of the time, you're going to be an unhappy camper, and you're going to be looking for a long time. We're not going to agree with each other on every issue. That's okay. What we've got to keep our focus on is the ultimate target, and that is defeating the Democrats, because our vision for the future of America and Virginia is better than theirs. It's that simple. We have to keep our focus on that. So unity is important, and then we also show that it's important for our party to be a party of big issues and ideas. You know, we can't be defined as a party of no. We can't be defined by what we're opposed to. We have to be defined by what we're for. And we offered a positive vision for the future of our state that talked about getting the economy moving again and creating jobs, turning the budget shortfalls into surpluses again. And then once we get the economy moving again and have the resources that we need to invest in important programs, we talked about what we wanted to do to solve real problems like education, transportation, and health care consistent with our conservative principles and philosophies. And you know what I found over the years? When Republicans talk about issues and ideas, we win elections because our ideas are better than the other side. And because most of the people in this country are still center-right. You know, this is a center-right country. And they want people who are going to focus on issues and ideas but lead in consistent with conservative principles and philosophies. So I hope as we look to the future that we'll remember that, stay united, run positive campaigns, focus on issues and ideas, offer a positive vision for the future of our country and our state and our localities. And if we do that, we will continue to earn the right to lead. And ultimately, that's what this stuff is all about. So again, thanks for all the help that you gave Bob and Ken and me. We're doing our best to make you proud of the investment that we made. You know, we're delighted with that news, by the way, last week. You know, to go from, in the 2010 fiscal year, from a $1.8 billion shortfall to a $220 million surplus shows what conservative leadership can do. That's a lesson they need in Washington, D.C., where there's no fiscal discipline today. To announce the job numbers, and in 6 months, we've closed over 110 economic development deals in Virginia. We've created 71,500 new net jobs in Virginia, the third highest job creation rate in the nation. Shows what conservative leadership can do. Now we're going to continue to be focused on those issues, but we're also turning our attention to improving education, you know, trying to address our transportation challenges, trying to solve health care the right way through the private sector and not a massive government takeover. And I think if we just keep working hard and working smart, you know, as I tell the folks everywhere I go, when Bob and I sat down in 2008 and charted out what we wanted the future of our party to be, it is not a 4-year plan. It is an 8-year or a 12-year plan. And with your help, we can continue to earn the right to lead this state, I believe, not just for 4 years, but for 8 years, and then for 12 years, and we can really make a difference right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So thanks again for the opportunity that you've given us to lead. Now, let me say just a word about this November. This is a critical time in the history of our country. I don't know any way to put it other than to say it that way. I've been involved in politics since the late 1980s. I don't know how many elections that is, but it's a lot. And in every one of those elections, someone has stood where I stand tonight and they've said something like, this is the most important election in the history of, whatever, insert the phrase. But I sincerely do believe this may be the most important election in the history of our country, because this may be our last chance to take America back again. We cannot afford 2 more, God forbid 6 more years of Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid. The country can't afford it. The country can't afford it. We have got to restore some balance to Washington, D.C. We've got to take these big government policies from the far left and return them to the center right where most Americans live. And we start that effort in 2010 by taking back the U.S. House of Representatives. And don't think for a minute that that can't happen. It can. We were up at the Homestead a few weeks ago, and the governor and I were meeting with some of our close friends and supporters, and one of the guests we had there with us was a guy by the name of Glenn Bolger. Many of you know Glenn. He's a very prominent pollster, doing a lot of work right now for the Republican National Campaign Committee. And Glenn told us that as of that event, there were 60 races across the country, 60 seats currently held by Democrats, where Republicans are either ahead in the polls or within the margin of error in the polls. This could be the largest turnaround in the history of our country in a midterm election. And I am as confident as I am standing here tonight that we can take back the House of Representatives. And if we do that, it will send a message from sea to shining sea that we are tired of liberal, big government policies, and we want to get America back on the right track. And so we got to go out and work as hard as we can between now and Election Day for good candidates like Patrick and Keith Femian and Frank Wolf to make sure that we elect and re-elect them to the United States House of Representatives. And then having done that, we can turn our attention to 2012, when the ultimate goal is to restore conservative leadership to the White House and to make sure that Barack Obama does not get 4 more years to take our country in the direction of a European socialist union, which is exactly where he wants to take our country. And we just simply can't allow that to happen. So for these next, how many days to Election Day?
103.
I knew he'd do that. I knew he would know that. I knew it. In the next 103 days, you got to get up every day and go out and work like the future of our country depends on it. Because you know what? It does. The future of our country may well depend on the outcome of these elections in 103 days. If you'll do that, I think we can win these elections. I think we can win a great victory. But it won't just be a victory for our party or our candidates, but of far more importance than that, it'll be a victory that gets this country, the greatest country the world has ever known, back on the right track. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I want to, am I introducing him? Are you introducing him?